Most men over 60 think they've become invisible. They assume younger women don't notice them, don't think about them, don't feel anything around them. And because of that belief, they start trying too hard. They over-explain. They over-smile. They overprove their relevance. But here's the uncomfortable truth no one tells you. The moment a man over 60 stops trying to be seen is often the exact moment she starts watching him, silently. Because indifference from a younger man feels normal, but indifference from a man who has nothing left to prove, that feels powerful. And power creates curiosity. You see, younger women are used to being chased, used to being reacted to, used to men adjusting their behavior for approval. So when a man over 60 doesn't compete for attention, doesn't rush to impress, doesn't even seem concerned about being noticed, something shifts inside her. Her mind starts asking questions she didn't plan to ask. Why isn't he trying? Why does he seem so calm? Why do I feel like I'm the one seeking validation? And that internal flip? That's where respect begins. Because ignoring isn't rejection. It's self-containment. And when self-containment comes from experience, not ego, it feels unshakable. Tonight, we're breaking down the psychology behind why younger women often respect, and sometimes feel drawn to, men over 60 who don't chase them. Not because of games, not because of manipulation, but because emotional independence at that age carries a different weight. Stay with me. Because once you understand this dynamic, you'll realize the power was never in attention. It was in restraint. There's a moment that happens quietly. A younger woman walks into a room. She's used to attention shifting toward her. She's used to subtle posture changes. Men straighten up, voices adjust, eyes linger just a second longer than necessary. She doesn't even consciously register it anymore. It's normal, predictable, safe. But then there's him, a man over 60. He notices her. And then, nothing. No performance. No exaggerated smile. No nervous energy. No attempt to extend the interaction longer than necessary. He continues his conversation. Calm, present, unmoved. And that is where the psychology begins. Because when a man over 60 ignores a younger woman, not coldly, not arrogantly, but neutrally, it disrupts a pattern she's deeply familiar with. Younger men chase. Men her age compete. Men slightly older attempt to impress. But a man over 60 who doesn't seek validation from her presence? That feels different. And different creates awareness. Here's what most people misunderstand. Respect is not triggered by attention. It's triggered by emotional independence. By the time a man reaches 60, if he has lived fully, he has faced rejection, loss, success, failure, reinvention. He has nothing left to prove socially, and that psychological detachment is visible. It shows in the way he doesn't rush to fill silence. It shows in the way he doesn't overreact to beauty. It shows in the way he remains centered in his own energy. That centeredness feels grounded. Now here's the tension. A younger woman might not feel instant attraction in that moment, but she feels something more dangerous. She feels curiosity. Because indifference from a younger man can signal insecurity, but indifference from a composed older man signals self-sufficiency. And self-sufficiency creates hierarchy. Not forced hierarchy, natural hierarchy. Her mind begins processing. Why isn't he trying? Does he not find me attractive? Is he uninterested? Or simply unaffected? That uncertainty activates something primal. We are wired to notice what doesn't react to us. Attention is easy to ignore. Non-reaction is harder. Because it challenges ego, and ego disruption leads to respect. Here's the deeper psychological layer. Younger women grow up navigating male energy constantly directed toward them. Approval-seeking energy, competitive energy, performative masculinity. It becomes noise. But when an older man removes himself from that noise, he stands apart from it. He's not trying to win her attention. He's not attempting to reclaim youth. He's not positioning himself as still relevant. He simply exists. and existence without need feels powerful. Respect begins forming not because she feels pursued, but because she feels observed without pressure. There's a massive difference. Pressure triggers defense. Neutral presence triggers awareness. Over time, something subtle shifts. She starts watching him, not obsessively, but curiously. She notices how he interacts with others, how he speaks slowly, how he doesn't interrupt, how he listens fully, how he doesn't rush to prove his experiences. And here's the part most men get wrong. Ignoring is not coldness, it's containment. If a man over 60 ignores a younger woman while secretly craving validation from her, she will feel the tension. Humans detect incongruence instantly, but if he genuinely does not seek her approval, if he is complete within himself, that authenticity radiates, and authenticity commands respect. Why? Because younger women are surrounded by performance. Social media performance, dating performance, masculine performance. A man who no longer performs feels rare. Rarity increases value. Value creates psychological elevation. Now let's talk about power, but not the loud kind, the silent kind. When a younger woman feels that a man over 60 is not emotionally affected by her presence, she unconsciously recalibrates the dynamic. She is no longer the center. He is not orbiting her. He is stationary. And orbit shifts toward stability. Stability attracts. But here's the twist. The respect doesn't feel romantic at first. It feels mature. It feels safe. It feels grounded. And grounded emotions grow roots. Fast attraction burns bright and dies quickly. Respect-based attraction builds slowly. But once it forms, it carries weight. This is why some younger women find themselves thinking about older men who barely paid them attention. Not because they were ignored, but because they weren't consumed. Consumption feels desperate. Restraint feels controlled. And control suggests experience. Experience suggests leadership. Leadership suggests protection. Protection triggers feminine relaxation. It's all psychological layers stacking quietly. Another layer most men overlook, ignoring signals optionality. When a man over 60 does not chase, he subtly communicates that his life is already full. He has routines, purpose, interests, history. He is not scanning the room for validation. He is selective. Selectivity creates status. Status triggers respect. Now imagine the alternative. A 62-year-old man trying too hard to impress a 28-year-old woman, over-laughing, over-explaining, oversharing achievements. The energy feels compensatory, and compensation lowers perceived power. Younger women are extremely sensitive to energy shifts. They read tone faster than words. They read posture faster than compliments. So when a man is calm enough to let her come to him, or not, it creates psychological space. And space creates pursuit. But not loud pursuit. Internal pursuit. She may initiate small conversation later. She may test engagement subtly. She may increase eye contact. And when he responds calmly, without eagerness, the respect deepens. Because now she sees consistency. Consistency at that age feels stable. Stable feels safe. Safe becomes magnetic. Here's the emotional tension that makes this dynamic powerful. Younger women are often unsure of long-term reliability in men their own age. Impulsiveness feels fun, but unpredictability feels risky. A man over 60 who ignores her doesn't appear impulsive. He appears regulated, and emotional regulation is deeply attractive, not flashy, not dramatic, but deeply grounding. And grounding triggers trust. Trust triggers respect. Respect can evolve into desire, but only if the indifference is real, not strategic. Because the moment it becomes a tactic, the energy shifts. True power doesn't chase, but it also doesn't avoid. It simply exists confidently, and that confidence earned over decades carries weight that youth cannot replicate. This is why some younger women feel strangely intimidated by older men who ignore them. Not because of age, but because of composure. Composure suggests self-mastery. Self-mastery is rare. Rare qualities command respect automatically, and respect, when mixed with curiosity and safety, can become something much deeper than attraction. It becomes gravity. Slow, unavoidable, quiet. If you've ever noticed a younger woman becoming more attentive after you stopped seeking her attention, now you understand why. It wasn't about ignoring her. It was about being whole without her, and wholeness is powerful. The real secret isn't distance, it's detachment from validation. Men over 60 who have built inner stability don't need to perform masculinity. They embody it. And embodiment doesn't beg to be seen, it simply is. And that is energy. That's what younger women respect, even if they never say it out loud. Because respect born from emotional independence is far more powerful than attraction born from pursuit. If this shifted your perspective, I want you to think carefully. Are you ignoring from ego, or are you calm because you truly don't need approval? There's a massive difference, and women can feel it instantly. Drop a comment below. Have you ever noticed someone respecting you more the moment you stopped trying to impress? And if you want more deep psychological breakdowns about age gap, dynamics, subscribe. Because surface advice fades, but understanding human behavior changes everything.